Right, it's Boyo Games here with.
Randy from
And,
WildHearts.
and what are we playing today? The
We are
Wild
playing.
Hearts. If you know that
Yeah, we're
Simpsons
gonna.
reference.
Who are we?
The Wildcats!
Who are we gonna beat?
The Wildcats!
If you know that reference. But yeah, tell us a little bit about Wild Hearts, though.
All right, so WildHearts TCG is a new TCG we're making. You are going to have a couple familiars. You're going to have. They're going to sit on this field here, or depending which side you're on. So your deck is going to be comprised of. So if you'll notice, like the familiar you have over here, this one is gold and this one is purple, and over here we have green and blue. You can only put cards in your deck of these colors, and these familiars, they are going to come out onto the field every turn. You don't like have to cast them or pay for them or anything. They're just, you are a tamer and these familiars are bonded to you, and that's kind of like the expression, like they're going on these fields to compete, and they're what your deck is sort of built around. So kind of going onto that, so we have, if you look in the center of the field here, these are fields. So each player, when they build their deck, they're going to pick 2 fields to put in their deck. And
Hey, how do you zoom into a particular card? It looks like space bar and left click, or okay, there we go.
Double click on it.
Okay.
Or
There
double.
we go. All right, there we go. Cool. All right, so these.
So yeah, if
fields
you double click on one of the fields, you'll see a star in the upper left. That number is how many victory points that field gives. So if you win the field at the end of the round, you'll get, so this windy plateau here, if that has 5 stars. I'm not sure if that's when you're clicked on, but
Yep.
so that'll give you 5 victory points if you win that. Now, so each player is going to come to the game. They're going to have 2 fields, and the person with the lowest power. So let's talk about power here. So if you want to click on one of the familiars, which side of the board are you looking at? The purple and gold?
The side with the Infernator. The
All right. Infernander, yep.
Infernander.
So it's a salamander, dragon, and then so you have Infernander and you have Owl Illusion, which is an owl. If you add those, at the upper right-hand corner of the card, there's a 4 on the Infernander, and on the upper right, on the Owl Illusion, there's 3. So that adds up to 7. So like your familiar power is 7. And if we go to the other side, we look at the Chrism, that has a power of 8. So your side has less starting power with your familiar. So you would get to choose which field you want to not be used. It'll go into the reserve field, like on the side. And then the rest of these fields would get shuffled.
All right.
And then kind of placed randomly. And the person who gets their field kicked to the reserve would get to go first.
Okay.
And going first is not a big advantage, because going last kind of lets you, having a last move can kind of determine where your power is on the field, and that can be like the difference between winning or losing a field. So, and if you go, and you get an extra card for going second, or first. You get an extra card for going first. So, all right, so let's go. So that's kind of the overview, and then there's this judge's deck here. So once all the fields are placed, then what would happen is, let's just pretend so let's say you're going first, or so let's say I'm going first, so I'll just place this. So I place a card here, a familiar, and then you would place a familiar on one of the fields.
Okay. And the judge's deck stays face up the whole game?
No, it's going to be face down. Let me flip it here. It's going to be flipped, it's going to be shuffled. And then, but we're not doing anything with the judge's deck yet. So go ahead and you move a familiar, then I place a familiar. And then once all the familiars are placed, then we are going to flip a card off the judge's deck. And so if you want to double click on that, that says field 1 is inactive this round. So these numbers here, these are the field numbers. So this field is inactive. The fact that I put my Chrism here is bad for me because this field can't score any points.
Inactive.
For that round. So then you So you can go ahead, if you right click on the deck, you can get actions on what you can do. So if you go ahead and just hit like shuffle and then draw, like you get 7 cards typically. It looks like they went face. Here, let me try to stack them here for you, and then you can pick them up and then drag them down to your bottom row here.
Okay, I selected take instead of draw, so that was my bad.
Oh, no worries. So yeah, so if you grab that pile and then you drag it down to the bottom of your screen, it should pull them up into your hand.
Actually don't see that pile for some reason.
Oh, okay. Here, let me just put it back in your deck, and then you can redraw.
Alright, yeah, I'll do it that
Okay.
way. There we go. Alright, and then how much energy do I have? Or
So now we kind of did this in a way, like we didn't really do this in a super wrong order, but you would have your hand, you would have it before you placed your familiars.
okay.
But so if you look down on the bottom here, you'll see a card with a yellow bar on it called Inspiration. So that is 1 mana. You start with that for free. And then any card in your hand, you can put face down as a resource, or if you look at this card here, you'll notice on the bottom of it, it says support. So support cards can be placed as a resource, and when you exhaust them or you expend them for effort, they will give you an additional action or an additional benefit. So like this one says you may give this card speed. So what that means is like if I, exhausted 2 and then I played a card, speed doesn't count as an action. So normally you play a card. If I play like this Torture down, normally it automatically becomes your action. So it's not like you're going to go through your whole turn and then it's the next person's turn. It's very back and forth. So once you play something, unless it says speed, then I get to do something.
Okay. Speed is the go again of Fab.
Yeah, yep. So if you play something speed, you have to play another card.
Cool. All right. And any card is resource. Just play it upside down.
Yep. So if I didn't have a support card, I could just put this down and then flip it.
Okay. And support cards, they just give you the listed benefit.
Correct.
Okay.
And in order of resolving, their effect happens last. So if you play a card that has so let's kind of talk about some cards here. So like debut, if you'll see here, this has the keyword debut. That means that when it comes into play, friendly familiars get +1 power. So that effect happens first. So debut effect happens, you resolve all the debut effects, and then if there's like ongoings that trigger when a card comes into play, then the ongoings trigger, and then the support effects trigger at the end.
Cool.
Pull this back in my hand. And then once we did that. Play a resource card. And then we can, I mean, if you want to play a game, we can pull everything back and we can kind of re-go through it. So you can actually place your familiars where you'd want them, or you can rearrange them. I was just kind of placing familiars, just kind of show how the flow of the game went.
Yeah. I mean, you want to reset it?
Sure.
All right, cool. Man, this was a great game. Like, yeah. Really giving.
Awesome. I'm glad you.
Oh, yeah. Really giving Snap a run for its money on the actual tabletop. I like it. Yeah, so what's up with the lore?
I'm sorry? What was that?
But you were saying, though, it's what?
Right, so you'd have 20 points at the end of this, so then you'd win. And then there is another, it doesn't happen very often, but say, like we were in the third round. If we got to the end of the fourth round and no one had more than 20 points, whoever has the most points wins at that point. The game will never have 5 rounds.
Okay. So we were just on round 2, right?
3. So,
3,
right, because we had round 1, we placed a resource. Round 2, round 3.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that keeps the time down, too. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. Great game. So what's going to be your age demographics you're thinking?
I think it's going to appeal to a lot of different groups. Like, so I have a 6-year-old daughter. I am excited to teach her this game and play it with her. She wanted to learn Magic, and I was like, well, we can do that, but there's just some art on some of those cards that I'm just not really comfortable with. So this is going to have art that's very family friendly. And also, like, it has a high skill cap, so I think it's going to appeal to the competitive players and the older people as well.
Definitely. Step up from Lorcanna. Definitely. So what's up with the lore and everything? I know you say you got 2 familiars, but you got a full worked up story and everything?
Yes, so some kind of background on the war. So the lore, you tame creatures, like, so it's a bond. So when you bond with a familiar, it's a very deep bond. So some familiars are actually so deeply, or some tamers are so deeply bonded with their familiars that they don't need to give them verbal commands. Like, they can just kind of, like, almost telepathically tell them what they want. So we're kind of going away from, where you're going to have, we don't want people to feel like tamers need to get a ton of different kinds of familiars. It's more like these familiars are, they're very important to me. They're very special, and that's why I've sort of built my deck around them, right? That's your kit that you've put together through years of training. And these tournaments, so familiars aren't only used in tournaments in the lore. There's businesses that have familiars in the lore that they do things like maybe like construction or whatever. But these familiars specifically that we're seeing here, they are, they're the familiars that are being used competitively to entertain others, right? So this would be like the equivalent of a sport like football or basketball or something, where you're going into arena, you're competing to take over these fields, but you can knock creatures out, but nobody's dying. No familiars are dying in these arenas. Like, it's very, very much for entertainment and expression of skill.
Okay. And what are these challenger cards about?
Oh, so this is for our solo play. So we want this game. So this game can be played between 1 and 4 people normally. So we could add 2 more people to this, and we could all play. Or if you want, say you got the game and you wanted to play right away, but your friends weren't ready or whatever, you there's a solo version of the game that will also launch with it, and that's what these cards are for. I'm going to be going through. I'm actually going to be playing the solo version in the Discord on Monday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm going to go through how that all works. But yeah, so that's kind of the general thing here. Is there's rules that I can kind of do a quick run through, but so if you look on this card here that has these two familiars, so the solo deck is you're playing against an in-lore tamer, and these are her familiars. So she has a Pandarlet, which is that little fiery panda, and then she has a they're right here, Aces. Aces is the Pandarlet. And then she's got... so her name is Valentina. So that's this orange card here that you see here. So this is, instead of when you play against her, instead of having the inspiration card like we have, you are going to have this card, which is her.
Okay.
And then this is her specific deck. It's got cards in it that they're not like the cards that you play with. And then she's got her own Judge's deck as well. And then here's her other familiar, Furion, which is a Kindolf. So that's kind of how the solo is going to work. You're going to play against a specific in-lore tamer. She has her own rules that are going to play different than if you were playing against another person. But that's kind of because, in a way, you're playing against an AI in a sense, right? Like we've made these cards so that they kind of play themselves in a way. So you don't actually have to have another person on the side of the table.
Nice.
To play against.
Okay. And the game will probably launch with one of those AI tamers?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, cool.
That's the goal. So it'll launch with Valentina. And it will launch with all the rules for co-op mode and everything.
Okay.
Or not co-op, but multiplayer.
In the 4-player, that's a 2v2 or just a one free-for-all?
So you can play it. You can do it free-for-all. You can do it 2v2, or you can do it 3-player free-for-all as well.
Okay. Nice. Any kind of other media y'all talking about getting into? Comics, cartoon, anime?
Nothing like that. We also have an RPG that we are going to launch. We are going to have a Kickstarter for like late October, maybe early November. And that is just going to be what we're launching there is going to be, it's like part lore book, and then rules for the tabletop RPG, where you're going to be able to explore the world of Wild Hearts in a different kind of way. Like you're going to play as a tamer, but maybe you're not a tamer that's doing this, but maybe you're a tamer that's like trying to like track down poachers, or you're trying to get into like that construction thing we had talked about, or doing other adventures. So it's going to have rule sets for that, but all the familiars you see in here and a lot of the items you see in here will be items that you'll be able to get in that RPG as well.
Cool.
And then that RPG that we're launching then is going to have some alternate art promotional cards for the TCG that are going to be in that Kickstarter.
Okay. And you say y'all are looking at launching in 2025, right?
Yeah. Yep. February of 2025 is the plan.
Okay. Going backer kit Kickstarter?
Kickstarter.
Okay. You plan on doing the backer kit afterwards, or no backer kit at all? I mean, not backer kit, game found, I mean.
Game found. Not at the moment, but that's something that the developers would have to. That if that was something that we wanted to do, as we got closer, we would communicate. But at the moment, I don't think that's the plan.
Cool. Any kind of exclusives for the campaign or something that y'all are thinking of adding, or foils, anything like that?
Yes. So there'll be exclusive alternate art and foils in the campaign. We're never going to do anything like a card that would have different text on it that you could only get in the Kickstarter campaign. It would just only be like alternate artwork or things of that nature that aren't going to affect the game balance.
Okay. And the mode of the cards being released, it's a booster pack kind of way to get things out, or what? LCG style, or?
So we're going to have a starter deck, which is what we're playing with now. So that'll come out. That'll be one of the things you can get. There's also going to be booster packs and booster boxes. We recently tested doing draft with the booster boxes, and it works really, really well. So you don't actually need to add anything other than tokens from outside of what the booster box contains. Otherwise, it has everything you need.
Nice. Okay.
So boosters, and then the starter deck. We talked about doing like sealed decks, which would be like the starter decks with maybe some boosters. That might be a thing that we see in the Kickstarter. But that's kind of the general gist. Is there's going to be definitely the starter decks. The Kickstarter is also probably going to feature the solo mode as a reward tier that you can get, and then the various booster packs or blister packs, or however we want to do that as we get closer to the Kickstarter. We'll communicate that.
Okay. And I know it's about 7-8 months off, but any kind of price points y'all looking at so far?
That information I don't have, but it's going to be I actually do for the booster packs. Look at chat. Okay, so I was just communicating with one of the developers, and we don't have an exact price point yet, but cheaper than Magic and Low Arcana for sure.
Okay, great. Any kind of plans on retail at all right now?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to, include the local game stores in that. We're mainly doing the Kickstarter because we want to form like a community with that. So the hope is definitely also in retail and in stores. I would love to, be going to like local game stores and like helping set up and run tournaments and things of that nature. So, and we also, speaking of tournaments, we also are going to have Homa tournament kits that we're currently in the process of finalizing, figuring that out. But what the goal is you will be able to host a tournament in your home, and you'll be able to like have a list of the people that were in it, and then you send that to us before you like are going to be doing the tournament, and then we're going to send you a tournament kit, which is going to have prizes and things of that nature that you can hand out for the tournament that you host yourself.
Excellent. All right, going to try to splice this in, but we forgot something. What's that?
We forgot to tell you about the rarities. So there are a few different rarities in WildHearts. There is... Alright, so let me find the Chrism here. So there is the... Where's the Chrism? He's hiding. Alright, let me just grab any of these familiars. Surely you're familiars are still... All right, so here we have the S rarity. This is special rarity. This is for starter decks. So the Owl Illusion, the Chrism, the Faratune, and the Infernander. These are all going to be in the starter deck. These have the special rarity tag. You're not going to be able to necessarily pull these from normal booster packs. So, and then we have common. That's with the C. That's the white. And then we have uncommon. Let me see if I can find. Oh, right here. This is uncommon here. I'm gonna stack them here on the bottom so you can click on them easier. Pull out a rare card here. We also have rare, and then we have legendary, and then there is a there's going to be another rarity above that, and I'm not really at liberty to talk about that a whole lot, but it's something that's going to be really fun and explorable by the community. We're really looking forward to people discovering that. Take these cards here and see if I can grab. Oh no. So, oh yeah, so here's rare. So rare is going to be marked with like a gold symbol. Uncommon is silver, common is white, and then the special has that like multicolor symbol. And then legendary is going to be purple.
Cool. Okay.
But I do want to say for the rarities that we at WildHearts don't like people opening booster packs and having a bunch of feel bad cards. So we have done a lot of testing where like the difference in power between like a common card and like a legendary card is really just going to be the style of deck that you're going to want to build. But like when we were doing, we had tested doing draft a lot, and really what a lot of our decks were being built from was a lot of these common and uncommon cards because they are so very good. So I don't want people to think like, oh, there's like all these rarities and like you need to have legendaries or whatever to compete. Like all the cards are pretty good.
Cool. Right. And I'm sure for the investors, the campaign will give you something that's highly investable. So.
Yes, exactly. We want to. So the alternate art, I do want to say that the alternate art that is going to be on our Kickstarter is going to be exclusive to the Kickstarter. So you won't be able to get it after that.
Okay. Nice incentive to go ahead and get in while you can.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Guess out for real this time. Let's see. All right. Guess anything else you wanted to tell the folks about WildHearts?
I think that is it. The Kickstarter's also going to have we're going to be doing, and this is maybe something I would like to get your opinion on as well, is so we have this mat here. You see, like this is a mat that we actually physically have made, and we got some back, and they look really, really good. But in your preference, when you play TCGs, do you prefer a 2-player mat or do you prefer like a single-player mat? And what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, like, it's better aesthetically with the 2-player. But I mean, I guess 2 depends on how popular the game is. But I don't want to haul around that 2-player mat. But then again, it's better to have. But the 1-player, like if I'm actually, like, Magic, you don't really see people with the 2-player mat for Magic. But Magic is already
very
fully
popular.
established. So, but like with a new game where the other guy is likely not to have it, the 2-player match is probably the better way to go to put your resources behind. But some people, I would go probably 70% 2-player, and then the remaining 30 maybe 1-player.
Okay.
If that's what I
Yeah,
would
so
think.
the Kickstarter is probably going to have some various 2-player and single-player mats that we're going to have. We'll probably do a poll sometime when we get closer to see what people are liking the best. But and the last thing I really had is I'd like to plug the WildHearts Discord and say that we are currently looking for playtesters, or even if you don't want to playtest, just come by the Discord and chat about the game.
Nice. Yeah, great game. I would throw it right in the top 100 of my favorite TCGs.
Awesome.
So yeah, this is a great one. Yeah, and just pretty much the Discord is where they can find you, and y'all have a website.
Yes, we do have a website and a Discord. I can let me send that to you quick here. Here, let me actually send you. This we have a little informational flyer here. I'll send you that. That's got our should have a webpage on it as well. But if it doesn't, let me send you that. There.
Right.
So that QR code on the bottom right of that informational flyer I sent you is that'll get you to our Discord. And let me. I have a permanent invite link I can send you to.
Yeah. Early 2025, 2 familiars, 30 card deck, resources, any card, no turns, length, 4 rounds max, narrative, no classes, immersion, explore, mystery, learn how to play, WildHeartsTCG.com, the code, yeah, everything looks great. So who's going to be your main flagship characters that you're coming out with?
For tamers?
Tamers
Or more familiars?
and familiars, yeah.
Well, so all the familiars have been heavily tested to make sure that they are competitively equal. My personal favorite familiar is the one that we saw that you played against today, is the Chrism. I just like him. He's got block. He can't really be KO'd. He just gets reset. He's very powerful. You kind of have to deal with him.
Oh yeah, 8 drop, yeah, 8 power, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's
he's what?
He's might. Oh yeah, but yeah. So as far as so it'll be interesting to see what the community has as their favorite familiars, because I was thinking back to Pokemon, right? When Pokemon first came out, no one knew that Pikachu was going to be everybody's favorite Pokemon, because the first 3 games, they were red, blue, and blue.
Yeah.
And the starter.
Actually, I think Clefairy was supposed to be the guy, but
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting, and then you'll be seeing one of the developers is going to be dropping some design diaries in the Discord tomorrow. We're probably going to be seeing a lot more about Valentina. She's kind of one of the main characters lore-wise that the story is going to be following as we go forward.
Cool.
There's a lot more, but she's gonna. I don't want to spoil anything. So
Okay, Valentina. Nice. All right. What's up with the art? Just soon to be done, or how's that going?
the art is done for probably, I want to say 70 to 80% of all of the cards. So it's very, very close. All of the cards for set 1 are completely done and balanced, and set 2 is already well underway.
Nice. Yeah. I like the card back. Like that Windy Plateau art. So we can expect some art looking like this Windy Plateau field, right?
Oh yeah, yep.
Okay. Nice. Cool. Yeah, everything sounds great. So check them out on that website, and then I guess anything else you wanted to leave them with.
No, but thank you so much for taking the time to go through this, and let me teach you the game.
Thanks for having me. Real great game. Love to see more of it in the future. All right. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Check them guys out. WildHeartsTCG.com. That's it, right?
That's it.
WildHeartsTCG.com. All right. I guess peace out. Later, Gators.